I forgot my tools. So I literally waited like 5 years for this. When I first saw OneWheel, I was like, I gotta have this, right? But I was broke, and now I'm a famous YouTuber with 300 subscribers, so I can afford this, obviously. Now I've had electric longboards before, so it's not like I don't have experience and I've done longboarding before, but this is very different. So today I'm gonna take a test drive, see if it's as fun as I thought it would be. But first, of course, I gotta unpack it. How do I even open this though? Huh? That's where the top is. Whoop. Box within a box. A box, a box, a box. Of course it is. Yeah. Oh, my neighbors don't hate me. It's the bottom. There's even a handle here. Is there going to be another box inside? Let's find out. We got charger and manual. This is huge. Look at this big boy. Oh my god. This is a lot bigger than I thought it would be. And I've seen them in like real life. I just never, never touched them like that. Look at this. That's huge. But wait, there's more. I gotta open this up. Alright, so I'm gonna go charge this first because I don't know how full it is. And I also gotta check the tire pressure. Alright, so it is charging, but it does look like it's gonna take a little bit of time. What do the lights mean? What do the lights mean? So it's about like 70% or so. Another box in a box? How did I know? I have the hypercharger. I should be using this. Do you see this? This is like good enough to charge like a freaking Tesla, dude. This is huge. Alright, so it is hypercharging now. Should be a lot faster. I got the fender. I have a bumper kit with some beautiful blue bumpers. I was trying to do Michigan colored, University of Michigan go blue. Close enough, let's just say. Got a little battery hole plug because you gotta plug your holes. And I also have, what are they even called? Rail guards, maybe? So this is what she looks like. All pimped out, I guess. So let's, ooh, it's heavy. Yeah. Let's go for a ride. All right, it is time for the first official test. Gotta try this on. So here I was picking the shaping, which basically determines how fast it can go and how responsive it is. And I picked the one called Rome, which I thought was the beginner one. And spoiler alert, it wasn't. Let's try that again. Shall we? Verdict number one, it is actually harder than I thought, a lot harder. It feels very different than riding a longboard. It's very interesting. And I can feel, like you can see me bouncing almost like I'm vibrating because my balancing muscles are like struggling. And also turning right is easy. Turning left, I'm like figuring it out. Alright, so I figured out one issue, and that's that I'm trying to reposition basically. Like I like to reposition my feet, but I can't with this because if I do, I fall. But gotta stand straight, I'm gonna learn it, gonna figure it out. So let's do one more. Alright, so apparently I was using the wrong profile. I was using like the second most easiest one, but I went down one, so let's see how that goes. I'm using the Bay now. At this point I was starting to get a little bit more comfortable, and while balancing and turning was still tough, I at least felt pretty good about being able to stop, or mostly. Alright, generally that feels so much better. I'm gonna go and do like a real trail run. I wonder how off-road feels. Yeah, I'm gonna go try that. So I'm very smart. I forgot to pack a battery, so I had to stop by home. But I'm just gonna go and take a little ride on the Riverside Path here I have in my town and see how it goes. Just gonna bring this thing with me and go from there. I also checked my stats, and apparently I hit 8.9 miles in top speed. That felt fast. This thing goes 20 miles an hour. I don't know how I'm supposed to go. Oh, I'm not supposed to go 20 miles an hour in this, but like, that's tough. That's crazy. All right, so I went for about 4 miles. My legs are killing me, but it's not bad. Look at all this white stuff out here, dude. It's crazy. But I'm also hitting like 50 miles an hour now on the second, what is it called? Shaping mode? Carving mode? One of those. I don't know what it's called. So apparently there's a Post Malone concert here today, out of all people. But so far I've done like 14 miles. My feet are kind of killing me because I think I'm wearing the wrong shoes for this. I'm also putting pressure on my toe, I think. Honestly, one thing I didn't think about is the maneuverability. Like, you can stop and go on a dime on this thing. Like, my electric skateboard, almost all the accidents I've almost been in were because it just couldn't stop fast enough. So I had to pretty much bail. But with this, like, you can stop like that. It's amazing. So on that day, I actually rode for quite a long time, and when I got home, I decided to do some research, and I learned that tire pressure is a very, very important thing, a very important part of owning a one wheel. When a tire, and especially a one wheel, is more inflated, it kind of goes a little bit more like this, right? So basically, it's more responsive because it has less contact with the ground, right? It has contact right here, and that's it. And it can't really bend too much. There's not as much give. So it's a lot more of a tougher ride, and it's more responsive, but also gives you more range. And on day one, I actually pumped up the tire even more, so it was above 20 psi, which is a little bit higher than they even recommend. And when the tire is softer, right, if it's a little bit more like this, right, you do lose some range, but look at all of this space you have here for the tire to actually bounce on, right? It's a little bit easier to balance, and it's a little easier to actually stay on the one wheel. So on day two, I decided to deflate the one wheel and experiment with that. I'd actually deflated it down to like 10 psi, which I realized was a little bit too low. So I actually went back to 15, and that was pretty much perfect. I might go up a little bit more, but not too much. Like at 15, it was soft enough to go off-road, both in the grass and in the dirt, without really any issue. And on day one, I tried to go off-road, but I stopped after like 20 feet because I literally could feel every single rock that went under the wheel, and I thought I was gonna fall. Like, it just was not comfortable. Plus at 15, it's still like stable enough and pumped up enough to where I do get a good mileage. It's comfortable to ride. It's pretty much perfect. And you know, I was able to hit 20 miles an hour on it, and I realized 20 miles an hour actually wasn't as fast as I thought. And like, I actually started getting to the point where I wished it had more speed. But once again, that's not really what one wheel is designed for. Like, it's designed for carving, it's designed for kind of just having fun while you ride it. If you're looking for speed, it's probably better to get like an electric unicycle or something, or honestly a moped or a motorcycle. It's not really designed for max speed. I've also been very impressed with the battery. Like day one, I rode about 16 miles or so, which is quite a bit. And there was still like 55%, like half of the battery was still there. So I could have ridden another like 16, 18, maybe even 20 miles, which is very, very impressive. And even at the lower PSI, like it still had about a 20-mile range. I think it's about 25, 26 right now. So that's plenty of range for me. Now the big question, is it worth the price? Because it is pretty pricey, and the real answer is like, it depends. Like for the price of a GT, you could buy a one-wheel Pint X and an electric scooter and still have some money maybe even left over, right? So the Pint you could use for cruising around the city, and the scooter can be for speed and just fun. Because the GT, it's pretty bulky. It's like 35 pounds. So for like errands, maybe if you want to go ride around the city and then go visit a coffee shop, maybe go to a record store, maybe go get some groceries, maybe riding in college. GT is pretty heavy, it's pretty bulky. The Pint X is a lot lighter. It's about 27 pounds, almost 10 pounds lighter. It's also a smaller form factor. So if you're looking for like shorter rides, that's probably the better option. Like Pint X, it is lighter. It does have the same max speed. It does have a smaller range, about 12 to 18 miles. So even if it's 10 miles, for most people, that's probably going to be enough. And then if you really want speed, I mean, the Pint does go 20 miles an hour, but it is smaller. And even on the GT, like my feet are pretty close to the edge, so I don't know if a Pint would be comfortable for me because I am a little bit taller at 6 foot, 6'1". So if you are like taller, maybe the Pint will be a little uncomfortable. Hard to tell. Now for me, I knew I wanted something that one, could go off-road, and two, had as much range as possible. So the GT was
pretty much my only option here. So I'm pretty happy with it. Like, it's great range, can go off-road, can go pretty fast. I feel safe on it. So like it hits all of those check boxes, but if I didn't need that range, I probably would have gotten the Pintex, honestly. Now, one thing I've heard people say is like, hey, you should try it out before buying it. And like, I agree if you can borrow it for a couple of days. Like if you can try it out for like 10 seconds or a minute at a park and you have a friend that owns it, I don't know if I'd actually recommend it. Because it took me about 20 miles to get like fully comfortable with it to where the board feels like a part of my body. And at the beginning, I mean, you saw what it was. It was very awkward. It was hard to turn. It did not feel great. So I don't think a one-time test is enough to see how it feels for you. I think you need to test it for a couple of days and put in, a couple of miles on the board before you can say like, is it for me? Is it not for me? Anyway, I'm still learning. I'm sure there's a lot I don't know. I don't know how to curb shove or whatever. But it's my first week, so I'm pretty happy with it. Pretty happy with my GT. I'm going to keep on cruising. But if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'm going to respond or maybe even make a video on it. Who knows? Okay, bye.